Imagine waking up tomorrow to a world where silver, the metal that has silently held wealth for centuries, is suddenly scarce, its flow stopped, its value about to surge beyond anything most of us have imagined. That's exactly what's happening right now. China has halted silver exports, and tariffs are disrupting billions in the supply chain. For many, this is just news, but for those who understand opportunity, this is a wake-up call, a chance to position yourself before the world catches up. Think about it. The same silver that filled the pockets of the wise investors a decade ago is now quietly becoming the lifeline of financial freedom for those ready to act. I remember my first encounter with silver. I was nervous, hesitant, unsure if holding a tangible asset in my hand could really make a difference. But the moment I realized that silver is not just a metal, it's a store of security, a hedge against uncertainty, a bridge between fear and opportunity, I changed how I viewed wealth entirely. It wasn't just about money. It was about freedom, control, and the confidence that comes from owning something real, something that no government policy or market panic could entirely erase. The first lesson here is clarity. When supply chains break, when governments manipulate tariffs, and when headlines scream uncertainty, the masses panic. But the wise see the opportunity. Look at the investors who quietly accumulated silver in 2008 before the financial crash. They didn't wait for approval. They didn't wait for headlines. They acted when the world was distracted. The second lesson is patience. Silver doesn't reward the impatient. It's a slow burn kind of wealth, compounding quietly, steadily, building security that the digital numbers on a screen simply cannot match. Every ounce you hold is a step toward financial freedom, a tangible reminder that you're investing not just in wealth, but in your life's possibilities. The third lesson is strategy. Buying silver isn't just about buying metal. It's about timing, mindset, and understanding the forces shaping global economies. Trump's tariffs, supply interruptions, geopolitical tensions, these are not obstacles. They are signals. They tell you where to position, when to hold, when to buy. People like Paul Tudor Jones, who shifted their portfolios into tangible assets, weren't lucky. They were observant, deliberate, and unafraid to take calculated risks. That's the mindset of a silver investor. Courage wrapped in wisdom, patience wrapped in insight. Now imagine this. Every ounce of silver you acquire today is a statement that you will not be a spectator to the chaos of markets or political disruption, a statement that you're taking control of your wealth, your freedom, and your future. Action is what separates dreamers from achievers. Start small if you must, but start. Educate yourself, track supply trends, understand market psychology, and above all, commit to consistency. The power of silver is more than financial. It's transformational. It teaches discipline, patience, and foresight. It forces you to see opportunity where others see fear, to act decisively where others hesitate, and to hold firm when the world seems uncertain. Imagine looking back in 5 years and realizing that the ounce you bought today, when headlines were chaotic, is now a cornerstone of your financial freedom. That's not luck. That's vision in action. That's wisdom taking form. That's life built with intention. This moment is rare. The supply chain is fragile, the headlines are screaming, and opportunity is knocking. You can watch the news in fear, or you can see it as a signal to act. Silver doesn't wait, and neither should you. Every ounce you secure today is a step closer to the life you've imagined, the freedom to make choices, the security to dream big, the confidence to live on your terms. Imagine waking up one morning to a world that feels familiar yet subtly shifting beneath your feet. The headlines are loud, chaotic, and filled with numbers that most people only skim past. China has halted silver exports, tariffs are disrupting billions in global supply chains, and the news cycles are flooded with uncertainty and fear. But in the midst of this chaos, there is an opportunity, one that whispers quietly to those willing to listen. Silver has always been more than a commodity. It is a hedge against uncertainty, a tangible store of value, and a gateway to financial freedom. For those who understand its significance, the current environment is not a warning. It is a rare invitation to act before the world catches on. Think about it. The same silver that quietly built fortunes in the hands of strategic investors decades ago is now positioned to play a decisive role in wealth creation once again. I remember the first time I truly understood the power of silver. It wasn't in a boardroom or a conference. It was in the quiet of my own reflection, feeling the weight of an ounce of metal in my hand, realizing that it represented something far greater than price charts or stock tickers. It represented security, freedom, and the confidence that comes from owning something real in a world of fleeting digital numbers. That moment shifted my perspective entirely. I understood that wealth is not only about accumulation, it is about preservation, about foresight, and about the courage to take action when others are paralyzed by uncertainty. The stories of ordinary people transforming their lives through silver are endless, yet often unnoticed. People who quietly accumulated ounces while the world was distracted found themselves years later with not just financial stability, but the freedom to live life on their own terms. free from the invisible chains of inflation, market crashes, and economic uncertainty. The first lesson is clarity. In times of disruption, when supply chains break and global politics interfere with markets, panic is the default reaction for most. But the wise recognize patterns where others see chaos. They see opportunity in scarcity, in headlines that terrify, in situations where the crowd hesitates. Look at investors during the financial crises of the past. They didn't wait for comfort or consensus. They observed, they calculated, and they acted decisively. The ability to distinguish between noise and signal, to recognize that scarcity often precedes value, is what sets successful investors apart. Every ounce of silver purchased during a period of uncertainty is more than a transaction. It is a conscious choice to prioritize security, to hedge against fear, and to take control of one's financial destiny. The second lesson is patience. Silver rewards those who understand the rhythm of accumulation, the slow but steady growth that compounds over time. Unlike the flashy, fleeting opportunities of speculation, silver's value is rooted in history, in tangible utility, and in the trust it has built across centuries. Those who rush often lose, while those who commit to consistent, thoughtful accumulation find themselves positioned for both security and prosperity. Every ounce held is a step toward independence, a quiet, yet powerful declaration that one's wealth is grounded in something real, something enduring, something that no market fluctuation or political decision can erase entirely. The third lesson is strategy. Buying silver is not just about acquiring a metal, it's about understanding the forces that shape global economies, about anticipating shifts, and about positioning oneself in advance. Trump's tariffs, supply chain interruptions, and geopolitical tensions are signals, not obstacles. The most successful investors, from legendary traders to entrepreneurs who built empires, treat these signals as opportunities to act strategically. They analyze supply, track demand, and align their actions with long-term vision rather than short-term panic. This mindset, where courage is balanced with insight, where patience is paired with decisive action, is the cornerstone of smart silver investing. People who seize these opportunities today are the ones who will look back years from now and see the difference between reacting to fear and acting on vision. Now imagine this. Every ounce you acquire today is more than an investment. It is a statement that you're not a passive observer in a world of economic uncertainty, but an active participant in shaping your future. Every ounce signifies preparedness, control, and a commitment to long-term security. It teaches discipline, fortitude, and foresight. It forces you to recognize that wealth is not only about accumulation, but also about timing, perception, and action. In a world where headlines scream chaos, the ability to see opportunity, to act with clarity, and to hold with patience transforms ordinary investors into architects of their own destiny. Silver is transformational because it is both practical and philosophical. It embodies lessons about life, about risk, and about the power of informed, deliberate action. Every ounce purchased, every decision made, every step taken in understanding the market is a building block, not just of financial security, but of confidence, resilience, and freedom. It reminds us that the most powerful form of wealth is not the numbers on a screen, but the choices we make and the foresight we exercise. In this moment, the world is offering an invitation to those willing to recognize it, an opportunity to secure something tangible, something rare, something that holds not only value but significance in the story of one's life. Opportunities in life rarely arrive announced with flashing signs or clear instructions. Most of the time, they arrive quietly, hidden in the shadows of headlines, obscured by the noise of daily life, and often mistaken for crises or obstacles. The halt of silver exports, the disruptions in supply chains, the tariffs shaking the market, these are not just events to be feared. They are signals, indicators that the world is shifting. Those who recognize them early can position themselves to not only survive, but thrive. Wealth, true financial freedom, is rarely about luck. It is about awareness, foresight, and the courage to act when most are frozen by uncertainty. This is the essence of silver investing, the reason why those who understand its value consistently turn moments of disruption into milestones of opportunity. When I first began to explore precious metals, I was drawn not by speculation, but by the desire for stability. I had watched friends and colleagues chase volatile trends, reacting to every headline, every rumor, every market swing, only to find themselves exhausted, stressed, and uncertain. Silver offered something different. It offered grounding, a tangible asset that held intrinsic value regardless of the chaos around it. Every ounce I acquired was a lesson in patience, a lesson in understanding that the world does not dictate your success. You do. Over time, I realized that wealth is not just about accumulation. It is about timing, strategy, and the willingness to see opportunity where others see fear. It is about positioning yourself ahead of the curve, understanding global shifts, and making decisions that align with long-term vision rather than short-term noise. The first principle of strategic silver investing is awareness. The headlines scream disruption, tariffs, halted exports, and global supply chain chaos. Most people see panic. The wise see opportunity. Awareness is more than noticing events. It is understanding their implications, anticipating their impact, and recognizing the patterns that history has repeated countless times. Investors who grasp this can act decisively, positioning themselves when others hesitate, understanding that scarcity often precedes value, and that every ounce acquired during times of uncertainty is a step toward financial freedom. The second principle is preparation. Silver rewards those who are consistent, disciplined, and strategic. It does not require gambling on fleeting trends or chasing instant gains. It requires measured steps, deliberate accumulation, and the foresight to hold when fear tempts you to sell. History is filled with examples of people who quietly accumulated tangible assets while the world panicked around them. When crises struck, those who had prepared were the ones who not only survived, but prospered. Every ounce of silver is not just a financial investment. It is a symbol of resilience, a marker of foresight, and a reminder that the most reliable form of wealth is the kind that cannot be erased by market panic or political interference. The third principle is action. Awareness and preparation mean little without the courage to act. The world rewards those who do, who make decisions based on insight rather than impulse, who see scarcity not as a threat but as a signal. Entrepreneurs, investors, and leaders who have built empires understood this principle instinctively. They act decisively, informed by observation and guided by strategy. Every ounce purchased today, when supply chains are disrupted, when exports are halted, when the headlines incite fear, is a decision to take control of your future, to prioritize security over speculation, and to build a foundation that will last for decades. Silver is more than a commodity. It is a teacher. It teaches patience, discipline, foresight, and courage. It forces us to recognize that wealth is not only about accumulation, but about timing, strategy, and awareness. Every decision to acquire, to hold, to act with insight is a decision to step into control, to embrace freedom, and to cultivate confidence in the face of uncertainty. Investors who understand this principle see each disruption not as a setback, but as a signal, a chance to position themselves ahead of the crowd, to take advantage of shifts before the market fully realizes their impact, and to secure tangible value that withstands the tests of time, politics, and economic upheaval.